welcome to Kicking with Sensei. Today we're joined with Karate Unity founder Chris Hanson. You're very welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
And if you'd like to just introduce yourself and give the audience a little bit of background on who you are.
Yeah, sure. Chris Hanson. I'll be 52 this year. Let's see. I born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I was a former software developer before. That was my first job, and now I'm a school teacher. Been doing that for the last 16 years. Excellent. I live in a small town here in Stouffville, Ontario, which is about 45 minutes from the downtown core. I have a small family, married, and I have one child. I'm a martial art instructor on the side. Love to travel, train, and teach, and that's about it.
Yeah. So
that's my resume. Yeah. Anyway,
so how did you first get involved in martial arts?
Yeah. Let me just tell you, it wasn't my choice. I grew up here. In the late 60s, early 70s. There was quite a racially tense time here. I was I was the only Asian kid in my class among all Caucasians, and there was a lot of racism going on. I was picked on a lot and stuff, and bullied every day, beaten up at recess, and the whole bit. Typical kind of problem, right? Yeah. My dad said, you got a choice of doing karate or hockey, right? And I didn't want to do hockey because all the bullies were in hockey. They all played in those leagues, so I didn't want to hang out with them. So I joined karate, man. And there was a lot of slim pickings at the time, because there was only in Toronto here, growing up in the 70s, 80s, man. Like there was just like karate, taekwondo, and judo, basically. Yeah. So anyway, I did karate and fell in love with it as soon as I walked in the dojo, bro, because there was a mix of boys, girls, men, women, different colors, different races, and just the whole structure of it all, the whole group fitness vibe of doing everything together and growing together. Mm-hmm. Like that was something to be spoken for, and it was love at first sight, man. Didn't look back, Yeah.
Do you think martial arts has a very unique sort of camaraderie about it?
It's a little different, it's similar and different than a sport, but it's different in the sense that there's I don't know, you can argue this with anything really, like with even with a team sport, but I'm very biased, obviously, because that's all I've done. But so I'm going to say, there's a difference. The difference is, I think there's this spirituality that you have, and I don't mean it in a religious sense. I mean it in a kind of like a perseverance type of thing. Like you kind of, like you bond with your sensei or your sifu or whatever you want to call him, right? Based on your context, and you have this bond that's for life. You know what I mean? And he or she fosters, connections with all the players in your club, and you're just like working hard through all your hardships, right? And through sweat and through all these drills, and you're just, relationships are forged through pain. You know what I mean? And that's very different than a lot of other activities. I'd say, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, people often laugh at me when I say that I met most of my best friends after they give me a good kick on the side of the head. But yeah, it's true. So, you've been known for cross training a lot, and what other styles have you practiced? And has any of these had major influence on your training and teaching style?
Yeah, so cross training hasn't really been my thing right in the beginning. Like I said, I started karate. Like I won't bore you with all the details, but I started when I was 10, and I put in about 14 years in a Shorin Ryu club here in Toronto. I got to a Nidan there, senior level there, and then I moved on to Kempo, I wanted to cross train in that because some of my friends, you know, they were doing similar things than me, but every time I would touch hands with them and spar with them and do different things, I'd get winded. I'd get like, they'd be different things that they would do that I didn't do, you know, like there was their Kempo, for example, there was a big emphasis on grappling, big emphasis on clinch range, a lot of sports style, you know, AKA boxing type of strikes, right? And we never did a lot of that. We did a lot of trapping and you know, very kung fu-ish kind of style of striking. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just I guess I never really adapted really well to different fighters, right? So I liked how these other guys were fusing different ranges into their training. Yeah. And so I kind of gravitated towards more of a Kempo style. And then later on, I started to meet other martial artists that, you know, that were JKD specialists, you know, Jeet Kune Do, and you know, every JKD player that I played with, you know, they did different things, and I love that fact. You know, in the JKD circles, they criticize that, right? But I actually love the fact that different instructors have different focuses for different things and how they evolve, right? So I love that versatility, which made me even think even more to cross train. So then I decided to go, you know, join a MMA gym. And currently, because of COVID, my coach, he's looking for an alternate place to start up his business right now, which is really sad. It's a rough time right now, but so yeah, I'm there, and over there we do. We have a whole, you know, we have the whole striking suite of solutions there. We've got boxing, Muay Thai, Savate, you know, and I really love the Savate and the Muay Thai flavors of striking. Simply because of the rhythm and timing. And I think, you know, like, for example, Muay Thai is a really good complement to karate, because, you know, I'm in my dojo right now and I'm staring at a poster, and I've got a three-piece poster that's from Thailand, and it's got the entire Muay Thai syllabus on it. And I'm looking at the pictures right now, and I'm picking out P9 and Nahanchi. I'm picking out Kihons from all my kata, and you know what I mean? So like, so Muay Thai is something that I really enjoy in my striking, integrating in my striking. And the Savate more so because of the rhythm. You know, they like to blend and strike, blend parries and strikes at the same time. And they like to combine parrying and kicking and parrying, striking, and constant fluid motion with their legs. I love that stuff, man. And that kind of just adds, you know, a lot of people criticize, you know, they say to me, you know, you're diluting your karate when you cross train. Like, you don't need to do that because karate has everything, right? And yes and no. And like karate, I mean, it has all the body parts, you know, it utilizes all our body parts, but it doesn't have everything, in a sense that, like, I don't think karate specializes in any particular thing. You know what I mean? I think it's a holistic style, and it's got all the different ranges, and it can be used in all the different ranges. But this is where cross training comes into play, where I think people need to change their mind, and that's the reason why I started Karate Unity. In that, you know, think about it. We all have gone to school, okay? We've all taken different subjects, and every single subject that we've taken has a specialty. But at the end of the day, all these subjects are part of what? They're part of one thing. They're part of our holistic education, right? Yeah. And so all those pieces, math, the science, the geography, the language, you know, all these specialty subjects that you might want to take, a trade, for instance, whatnot, all of those things enhance what? It enhances your education, right? So to me, if I were to make a parallel, education is your martial arts is your education, and all of the different subjects are your specialty cross-training things that you want to do. So so for me, you know, I wanted to clean up my striking. So I went to various places. I went to a Muay Thai gym, and then in that gym, like I said, they did Savate and boxing. So I got to clean up my striking there. But then I wanted to learn trapping. I wanted to learn that really inside, in your face kind of range. And so I did Wing Chun for about a year, right? Yeah. And that cleaned up that cleaned up the inside, you know what I mean? And when you layer that with the boxing and the Muay Thai, and you layer that with all the Kihons from karate and stuff, you become a very versatile fighter. You know what I mean? If you work at it, that is, you know, you have to work at it and you have to spar. But yeah, so those are some of my thoughts on cross training, and you know, those are some of the things I've done. Yeah.
I think I was quite lucky. Now, it's the system I train in. It was actually founded in the 50s. It was actually a karate guy, a judo guy, and a jiu-jitsu guy got together and training.
Oh wow!
And the system was born out of that. So it's got influence of all three. But over the years, instructors have come from other styles in and added their piece, and it's just developed. And like myself, I came from boxing and kickboxing when I was younger, under the system, so I've incorporated that into it. And
why not?
It's unbelievable how it's grown. Like even since I've started training in it, there's a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu getting influenced into it now as well. But I suppose it's just really finding your own weakness and just improving on it. And
bingo, it's that simple, man. It's really that simple. It's a personal thing for everybody. You know, like, you know, my coaches, you know, they're open enough to tell me, they're saying, you know, you can't push cross training onto everybody, because not everybody is going to want to learn something different, and what they're different is going to be different from what you want to learn. So it's something that they have to just realize. Like, you know, like for me, my realization was really simple, man. I got punched in the face way too many times. I got punched in the face, and I got winded. I got knocked out, you know, by who? By combat sport players, you know, by guys that do that for pretty much a living, you know? And, you know, so I'm a big proponent, you know, like you mentioned boxing, I'm a huge proponent of boxing. And like, you know, back in the day when I was in karate, it was literally frowned upon when you would talk about anything combat sport related. It was frowned upon to talk about lifting weights or doing any type of plyometric exercise, or, I mean, you know, it was just frowned upon, right? It was like a totally separate component. But when you take a look at, like, I'm willing to bet, in fact, I'm almost positive of this, that we are in a generation right now. I can honestly say we're in a generation right now of martial arts where we are at its best. Think about this for a second. We've got the best access to pretty much any range we want available at our fingertips through the internet, right? And through travel, you know, and especially now, you know, we can hook up and train with people. Like, I've got friends that are certifying for their Muay Thai certification, and the way around it is really simple. Like, you can learn and dialogue with somebody from video, okay? And that doesn't really, a video is not a real life person, but that's easy. The real life practice is easy. You just get a partner. So your instructor is there telling you what to do and showing you and giving you tips, and you just go get a partner. And so you get the partner, turn on the video camera, and your instructor is assessing you as if he was right there. To me, I mean, I don't see a problem with that at all, right? So this is the wave of the future now. And not only that, I mean, we can call BS on anyone's stuff. We can see what works and what doesn't work. It's all proven. I mean, because we've had, like, back in the day, you know, the instructors never really, they had access to each other's stuff, but you had to travel, and it took a long time, right? To make judgments and assessments on other people's stuff. But now we can do that easily, right? So the fact that we can do that means we've got better assessment tools for our training. We can assess where all our weaknesses are, where our strengths are, through video, through audio, through all kinds of apps, you know, through kinds of tracking and timers and all these kind of things. And we can just get better and better at a very short and efficient time frame, in my opinion. So I think this is the best time to train martial arts. And, you know, if you're not tapping into online resources and things and studying and taking notes and meeting other people like what we're doing right now, I think you're doing yourself a huge disfavor, you know?
I personally think that I've actually met more martial artists in the last 8 months of lockdown during COVID.
Yeah, bro.
100%. I've just started this channel, and I've came across African martial artists, European martial artists, and it's unbelievable the connections you can make sitting in front of a computer.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's time consuming too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, time consuming. I mean, like I'm falling in love with video editing, and I love the idea of putting out content and all that stuff. I'm relatively new to it, but I'm getting better at it slowly by slowly. And but man, it takes time. I mean, I have a small family, and it's really time consuming.
Yeah.
And videos for me take forever to edit, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm the same now. My editing is, I'm only at this for 2.5, 3 months, and it's a really real big learning curve really with editing, and still a lot of fun. But you're a school teacher outside of the dojo. Do you think martial arts has helped you in your career, or outside of the dojo in life for that matter?
Yeah, I think teaching and martial arts, they go hand in hand. I mean, I teach the way I train, and I train the way that I teach. And they both complement each other. Like coming in as a martial artist into the school system, and coming in as a former software developer, like I told you. So I've got the computer background and plus the martial art experience. I mean, they're good assets for students because they get a chance to see the logical side, logical type of thinking, that I give to the kids. And also, the martial arts, by default gives you a sense of all that rigorous repetition and discipline. It's part of your character. You carry it in everything you do, from the way you walk, from the way you speak, from the way you look at a concept. You don't leave any concept uncovered. So you're very thorough. Like for me, martial arts has taught me to look at things with many lenses, and also to teach and learn with a level of detail that's very different from, say, someone who doesn't do martial arts, right? Because I came, and of course that's going to be different from different schools, but I came from a school where my teachers were very meticulous about detail, almost to the point where they're micromanaging every single move you make, which in a way it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
But I came from all that. So, my kids sometimes, like I teach grades, I've taught everything from grades 3 all the way up to grade 8. And so my biggest complaint that my kids get from me is, Mr. Hanson, you're asking us to do too much detail, right? But it's a good thing, because by the time they get to high school, they're doing well there. They've got that grit, right? So yeah, 100%. It's affected the way I teach, and it's given me a sense of calm too, because teaching is it's a tough job, bro. You're basically going against the grain. You're teaching students, a lot of them of which they're going through so many different social emotional issues, and the symptom looks like they don't want to be there, and so you got to navigate through all that, and irate parents and the whole bit. And martial arts teaches you how to be cool, man. How to chill, and yeah. So I'm very grateful for my journey. It's been really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a school teacher first introduced me into dojo. He was he was a biology teacher at school, and he ran an after school dojo. It was 3 times a week, and I was getting into so many fights and getting into so much trouble in school with fighting. He just instead of throwing me out, they decided to throw me into the dojo, and it worked out. Like, so I grew up and became an instructor.
Nice. And, opportunity knocks, man.
That's it. He must have seen potential where the rest didn't, but I suppose it might have been his martial arts mindset. But how important do you feel kata is to learning karate?
Kata, yeah. That's a good question. I smile because I've been through a journey with that. Well, kata was the bread and butter of what we did. I mean, when I went through the 2 schools, the Shorin-ryu school and our Kempo school, kata was very important. But the application, in my opinion, is more important than But anyway, let me back up. When we learn kata, I I learned it in a way that, you know, we did the moves, we repeated it, we did it in various angles. We had partners in front of us and to the side of us and behind me that were my targets. And so every time I turned to that direction, you know, they would give me a particular feed, like a punch or a block, punch or a kick or whatever. And I would basically use those kata movements based on all those reference points. Yeah. And to me, that's all I knew, you know, and you know, we were taught that as bunkai, and along with other individual kind of reactions. But still, you know, it was nowhere near what martial arts has evolved to now, you know. I mean, like now, you know, there's lots of pressure testing, there's lots of sparring, there's everyone's got access to each other's moves, so we're always trying to develop different counters for everything, you know. And so it's more versatile now. But back in the day when we were practicing kata, it was kind of like an alphabet, you know, where everything was memorized. And a lot of the times, you know, I mean, you can recite an alphabet and you can recite it really well with expression, and you know, but to me, that's kind of like a spelling bee. You're standing in front of a microphone and you're giving a performance where you're spelling out a word, but you're not really speaking, really. You're not really writing with it. You're not really conversing with it. You know, you're not really arguing with it. So to me, kata is kind of like rehearsing the letters, but which is very good, but you need to transform. You need to get away from that zone of learning quite quickly, actually, you know, and you gotta get away from that. And then you gotta start using the letters, right? So I mean, in traditional martial arts, I find you get there, you definitely get there. Like there's the kumite and the sparring and all that piece, but I find the timing of it, you know, traditionally is a bit long, and culturally back in the day, you know, that method would work. But now, like as I said, because we've got so much available to us, and everyone is looking at each other's game, you know, it would be in your best interest to get to the application as fast as possible, you know, and also learn the letters at the same time, right? So that's just good education. Like, I mean, if you think of learning curriculum, I teach my kids how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But right after those lessons, I throw a problem at them, so that they can apply it right away, you know. And that happens within the same week, right? Like, and I'm teaching them how to problem solve whilst they're using their fundamentals, which is, in my opinion, the kata, right? So I think kata is good, but it's got to be, to answer your question, kata is good, but you've got to deconstruct it, you know. And if you want to use the shuhari concept, you got to break the form, you know, and you have to kind of liberate yourself by cross training and testing, and you know. So it's all good, man. It's just it all comes down to the method, you know what I mean? Training method and your purpose. Like, I really quickly, like, some people love to just train the kata for various reasons. You know, some people like it for meditation. Some people like it as a warm up. Some people like to visualize, you know, their opponents in front of them and all this kind of stuff. And all that's great. And I don't need to wash that away at all, right? But if you think about it, you know, the whole purpose of the kata was to transform down all of the combative principles in a set. It's kind of like a tool set, a box of tools, right? And it's just there, and it's given to everyone in the same tray. Here's the tray, it's given to everyone. Like, this master gave this tray, that master gave another tray, and it's a tray of tools. And you got to take those tools out, put it on your body, and maybe hold it. And, you know, not everybody's going to be holding the tools the same way, man. You know, some people might have longer arms, some people might be smaller, whatever. And you just have to adapt those tools to you, right? So that's my take on kata. Yeah.
Interesting. I actually had a guy on here, Ian Abernathy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
we're friends.
Very, very interesting ideas on kata, and actually kata sparring.
Kata-based sparring.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And have you any favorite part of training that you favor over the rest? For instance, kata or kumite, kion, grappling, weapons, Was there anything?
I love it all, man. I love it all. I mean, it's like asking me that is like asking me what's my favorite type of music, and martial arts is like music to me. I love it all, and it all depends. And I would listen to certain types of music, like I would train certain types of things based on what I need and how I feel. Right. So lately, I'm maturing more as a martial artist now, and I'm looking back at a lot of things, and I'm kind of revisiting a lot of things that I've neglected. And so one of the things that I'm looking at now is Kobudo. So I'm looking at, a lot of the weapon systems, in particular, Sai and Tanfa. And I'm just falling in love with the whole intricacies of using your wrist and keeping things close to your body and all these things, and how to turn and shift. And all of that to me informs my training, right? So I've been getting into Kobudo lately, and I'm a super noob there. I'm learning, and but I'm loving it, and I'm always keeping ties with my martial art friends, and always try to get my rolls in. So because jiu-jitsu is a big my ground game sucks. And I'm always evolving that, trying to work on that. Getting more comfortable, on the ground, which is good. But yeah, there's always so much to learn, man. But so it's hard to pick a favorite, it's more like a flavor. What flavor I'm putting in my training right now. And for me right now, it's
craving at the moment.
Yeah, it's exactly. So right now it's Kobudo. And I've always, if you want to pick a favorite, I love trapping. I love getting in and trapping up my hands, and trapping up hands and striking and things like that. Like, to me, that's a very natural kind of, I have a natural ability to do that. And so I always, when I'm always looking at my kata bunkai, when I'm teaching that to my students and showing that in seminars, I've got that bias where I'm looking at it at a lens of trapping, how to trap up in clinch, and how to throw strikes from that type of range, Yeah.
Definitely. And speaking of Kobudo, do you have a particular weapon that you like to train?
Yeah. Hold on. I want to show you this. I just picked up from a local weapons maker an Okinawan replica. This is Purple Heart wood. It smells brand new. I can smell the conditioner they put on this thing. And so I'm training this bad boy now. Tanfa, yeah.
It's funny, I've always liked the katana now, but I think during lockdown, besides my wife telling me I can't use a live sword in the house, but I'm using the Joe staff a lot, so it's a lot of fun. But I think I'm very limited at the minute, no sharp weapons. So but you're the founder of Karate Unity, and what first motivated you to start Karate Unity, and what put the idea in your head?
Yeah, it was just a very selfish endeavor, in a sense that, I, prior to making it official online, I was doing this for the last, I'd say, 25 to 30 years. I've been always, it's part of my personality, I've always been reaching. I'm a reacher. I've always put myself out there. I'm always looking for different people to pick, get a second opinion, third opinion on something. Always doubting myself, whether what I'm doing is right, whether what I'm doing is, if I'm on the right track, it's a cool process, because it keeps you humble, man. People look at me, they say, man, you've been training a long time. And I go, yeah, I've been training a long time, but to me, I don't look at it in any other way. I look at it as more of a, I hate to say it, it's a curse sometimes. The more you train, the more you realize what you don't know, and then because of my personality, I need to know. And so because of that, I have to work even harder, so I get a lot of benefit by bringing people together. So like when I reach out to other instructors, you know, that kind of have the same kind of outlook as me, you know, and we have a lot of, you know, the teacher student type of relationship is very compatible, you know. I want to bring more people together like that, right? And I find like I'm telling you, it's really cool when you have a whole bunch of like-minded individuals in the same room. Magic happens. Time stops, and you know, everything just, you're in the moment and you're just growing. It's like you know, last year I had a couple of Filipino martial arts artists come down here at the dojo here, and they were from Pikiti Tertia, Cali instructors. And one of them came down here, and I've only met him for the first time. He heard about me, and I heard about him through our common FMA circles. And so, you know, we kind of trusted each other. He came into my doorstep, and we did some training. And oh man, all throughout the whole training session, it kind of went down like this. It was like, oh, I like what you did this there. Show me what you did. Oh, that's from our form. Or our teacher showed us this. Oh, show me that again. You know, it was not like I'm trying to feel you out, you're trying to feel me out, I'm trying to size you up. I want something from you. You know, I want this kind of promotion kind of thing. I want to promote this. Nothing like that. It was just kind of, it's like, I really enjoy what you're doing, and I can see all the moves similar to what I'm doing. But I want to know how you're thinking about it, and how you're delivering it, and why you're doing that. Every single person that I bring through this dojo and that I associate with, I'm fortunate enough to have that type of connection with, you know. And so that's why I said, all right, you know, I got to start Karate Unity. I got to make some noise about the whole idea of, you know, you can be in one style, and you can fall in love with one style. Like for me, I love karate. I love everything about it. But I also love all the martial arts, right? And all the combat sports. And I, you know, people say, well, you're not really specializing then. You're not really a karate guy. And I go, no, I think all karate guys, the original karate guys were like that. They went out and learned, right? Like Okinawan karate has a huge Chinese gung fu background, a huge Southeast Asian flavor to it, you know? And if you look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that, you know, these movements are there in Muay Thai. These movements are there in Muay Thai. These movements here are there in Silat. This movement here is there in Filipino martial arts. We've got all these movements here. These circular motions are there in Chinese Kung Fu. I mean, there's, you know, these plucking motions is in praying mantis, but these motions where you're pulling Kikite from karate. I mean, we move the same way, but we have different names for it and different seasonings and flavors. So because I realized that's why I wanted to start Karate Unity, because I said, you know, we can make all of our styles better. So for example, our seminars, some of the seminars that I participated here in Canada has been, you know, it's like a buffet. You know, you come in, and the facilitator basically says, all right, for 1 hour, pick your art, pick your section, go, right? So you've got a karate guy here, a Jeet Kune Do guy here, a Jits guy here, FMA guy there, a wrestler, boxing, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, and then you're just going and training with everybody, and everyone's training with each other. And when you walk away, you're taking away all this stuff, and you're just basically putting it back in your own style, right? And so, I mean, how is that not good? You know what I mean?
That's
so I mean, to me, that's Karate Unity, bro. And people, you know, people are doing this. It's just, it needs to be pushed a bit more, I think. And I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see how far I can take it. But I'm just having fun, you know, doing it because I got a lot of people to play with now. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing. Yeah.
I love seminars like that. We usually would have one. Our federation's very sort of heavily based within Ireland. And
tell me about yourself. Like, what do you train? What's your background?
It's very, very jiu-jitsu based, like Japanese jiu-jitsu with a lot of judo influence.
Nice.
But that's quite interesting, and it's just snowballed over the years. Like a lot of different styles been brought into it, and bits and pieces taken from different systems.
Yeah.
But we would have seminars every so often, and we might have Muay Thai guys, karate guys, and as you said, it's just take a mat each, and everybody's spread out and learning new stuff, and it just the whole system's just brought up then. It's a lot of fun now, but I've noticed a lot of similarities between some of the judo throws and like Funakoshi's karate throws and things like that. There's a lot of similarities between arts. And what else? I've been watching a lot of African martial arts. I don't know if you've heard of Damon Stith.
No, I haven't.
He runs a historical African martial arts association.
Right.
But I've been watching a lot of his stuff and following him for quite a while. And a lot of the African martial arts are similar to the Japanese and even the Chinese martial arts.
Interesting. When you get a chance, send me some information about that if you don't mind.
I will do, no problem. Now.
Yeah.
And has your mindset changed in regards to YouTube content and the direction you want to take Karate Unity since you first started it?
Sorry, ask me that again.
Has your mindset changed in regards to your YouTube content and the direction you want your channel to go since you originally started the channel?
Yeah. The mission's getting stronger. The mission's getting more clear in my mind as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know. And it's like I got to keep going, you know. The whole unity piece just makes sense, right? Yeah. The unity piece makes sense, and it's catching on. People are appreciating it, you know, and you know, I wish I had more time to dedicate to it, but the more time I put into it, the more exposure, you know, people are seeing to this type of thinking. And it either goes two ways, you know. You have the staunch practitioners that look at what I'm doing and simply flat out saying, garbage, it's not going to work. Why are you putting up these artsy fartsy videos that have music to it and stuff like that? We don't train the music. Why are you doing that? That's not kata. That's not nahanchi. What's, like, for example, like what I did recently, I've been putting out these short little instructionals that I find they're more manageable on my time. Like I'll just film something, and then I'll overlay, you know, like a little quick soundtrack and some titles and some lines and some labels, and then just put it out there, you know. And they've been picking up traction, but you know, like I said, people have been saying that's not, like I did one recently on the opening move nahanchi, you know, where you start off, you open up here, you do your foot stomp, you do your foot stomp, and you put your foot down. So I'm saying to myself, well, you know, like I said to you, that opening move was given by whoever founded the nahanchi system. I don't know if it was Motubo or I'm not a historian, so I don't. How could I say? Let me take that back. I'm not big on historian type of issues, right? Yeah. But I mean, there are those who think that the way it was taught in the beginning has to be the way you have to do it now, right? Well, the way I see it is these guys are individuals. They develop their kata for them. If you take a look at these guys, a lot of them are smaller. Some of them are really tall, and they have different body types. And when you look at the way they done their kata, it suits them, right? But if you also look at the way they've written any kind of documentation that they've left behind, they've also said that you need to take it as tools and use it and adapt it to you. So, I mean, that's what I'm doing. So when I see that foot stomp and bringing it down, I'm looking at the leg coming up and I'm using the heel. So I decided to utilize that on the inside, right? And so I get a lot of criticisms that, you know, what I'm doing is breaking the mold. And then I get a lot of people saying that, from what you just demonstrated, that's not going to work. And, you know, I'm getting used to that because I used to be like that too. I used to see a video and used to say, you know, that's BS and that's not going to work and this and that. but I've come to, you know, appreciate anything I see, because when I look at it, it's really just a snapshot in time, right? Yeah. You owe it to yourself. You don't owe it to the guy who's creating the video. You owe it to yourself to take it and make it work for you. So you have to change it, right? So, yeah. I mean, like, you know, I was demonstrating that move, for example, on my wife. My wife is not a trained martial artist. I just wanted to use her because I don't have any of my students right now, or I can't bring any instructors over here, nothing, right? Because of COVID, yeah. Right? So I used her. A, she's not experienced. B, I didn't want to hurt her. So I just kind of went very light. It was a very compliant kind of thing. And yet I get a lot of flack for it, right? So it makes me want to keep going, actually, because for every one of those guys, there's a lot of others who say, hey, I like your ideas, you know, yeah. And keep going. And I never thought about it that way, type of thing. And, you know, so, yeah.
It's unbelievable the amount of things that have been pulled out too as ineffective, and that wouldn't work against a UFC champion.
Yeah,
as you said, you were using your wife, an untrained.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, not everyone you're going to be fighting there's going to be UFC fighter or things like that. Like, so I think a lot of people need to, rather than saying it's ineffective, actually try and make it work, make it effective, rather than wipe it off altogether. So it's
like one of my disclaimers whenever I put some stuff out there, and I got influenced by seeing other people do the same kind of things, saying the same kind of things. It's like, I really like it when I see an instructor, you know, demonstrate a technique or a method or a concept, and you know, he prefaces it by saying, hey guys, here's a bunch of ideas that I've been playing with. It works for me at this snapshot in time, but keep in mind that, you know, I don't have many hours to roll to show you all the different permutations and combinations of how this is going to come out. Yeah. But this is the way that this is the way that I'm thinking. Feel free to take it. Feel free to make it way better than me. Feel free to not even use it, because if the fact that if you can think that you can't use it, that's actually a good thing, because then you know exactly what works for you and what doesn't. So I mean, when I hear other instructors kind of speak like that, I'm thinking, I like that kind of delivery. So that's what I do now in my posts and what I do in my videos. Like I say, hey guys, you know, this is just an idea. Feel free to take it and change it in any way you like. If it's changed you in any way, great. And if it hasn't, great. But let me know what you're thinking about it, because it's going to help both of us. Right. And that's how that's the kind of thing that I do at my seminars too. When I teach my seminars, and I can't wait till I can actually do that again. You know, I open up this dialogue to the participants, you know, because I want them involved at the end. I want to know what their input is, you know? So, I mean, but not everybody's going to be as open like that, you know? And so,
So as a YouTuber, Chris, have you any favorite YouTubers you like to follow? And
I've got some. I wrote them down over here. Let's see. Off the top of my head, there's a Canadian. He has this site called Precision Striking. I've actually trained with him before, and then I lost touch with him, and then I realized he went off and did. His name is Jason Van Helderhuizen. I think I've messed up that last name, but JT, Jason, he's made a huge name for himself for being a boxing consultant. So I love his stuff because he breaks down boxing, you know, from footwork to breathing to timing to pad work to sparring to defense, you name it, he's got it. And, you know, he applies it to pretty much all kinds of scenarios. So very versatile website, YouTube channel. So Precision Striking is one. I like fight tips. I like Shane, Shane Fazen. I've been getting into Sean Fagan lately. I've been really liking his stuff.
The Muay Thai guy.
Huh? Yeah, Muay Thai guy. Yeah. I really like his stuff, man. And yeah, really cool delivery. Really on point editing. And really like quick and dirty, quick to learn kind of stuff. In fact, I wrote down here in my agenda, I have a training log here in the dojo, and yesterday I was working on his 10 basics for Muay Thai. Yeah. And every now and then it's always nice to review. So I've been basically making that a course for myself. So I've been taking 5 of his basics and just kind of working it every session. Yeah. Taking the timer and just working it, on the bag, and working it solo, and So yeah. And then what else? Pretty much I would just scrub the net for things that I want to look at, yeah. Everything from Kung Fu websites to, I love JKD stuff. So I don't know if you heard of a guy by the name of Eric Paulson. He's a coach. No. You know Eric Paulson?
I haven't heard of him, no.
Oh, okay. Well, Danny Inosantos, Bruce Lee's student, one of his students. Well, Danny taught a lot of Americans. Eric was one of them, one of his top students. And Eric, he has, I believe, the CSW, catch wrestling. He has a federation in the States there, and he mixes boxing, grappling, striking, weaponry, FMA, really cool stuff, man. Yeah, and he's traveled pretty much all over the world. He's come to Canada a couple of times. I missed him on those times, but he's a good friend of my coach. So I'm gonna try to get him on my channel. Actually, I'd love to chat with him.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so yeah, those are my YouTube. Those are my YouTube things that I like to do.
Excellent. And what advice would you give someone starting out in their martial arts journey that you wish someone had told you as a white belt?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You often see these videos, things I wish I knew as a white belt. So I like to ask.
Yeah. Oh man, wish I knew as a white belt. Well, if I knew that it would take forever to learn anything, I would probably quit in the beginning, because it does take forever. It takes forever to learn something up good, like really good, you know. And then you realize, after sparring or meeting someone at a seminar or something, that you're not so good anymore, and you gotta start again. So if I knew that, I would think twice about getting into martial arts, or I would make sure that if I am getting into martial arts, that I'm ready for that kind of learning. You know what I mean? But yeah, so.
I remember it took for 10 years to get my black belt. And I was so proud getting it, and then I was told then that's only the beginning.
Yeah.
But this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
But obviously you come to the point then where you don't even pay any mind the rank anymore. It's just
you know what, like I to be honest, I hardly wear my belt, man. I hardly wear my gi. Like I would throw my gi on if I'm gonna grapple with somebody, or I'm gonna do some self-defense, just using it just to rough up, like just for grabbing and type of thing. But like I personally, I just like wearing t-shirt, fight gear. It's more comfortable. I sweat better in it. So anyway.
And is there any martial arts you'd like to try that you've never trained on before?
Yeah, like I said, I'm getting into the weapon arts now. I neglected it when I was younger, and just never really took interest to it. But now I'm learning that it's useful, to swing these things around, because it teaches you movement, and it teaches you how to your timing's different too, right? Yeah. So it's really cool. It's really cool. Definitely. Yeah.
Perfect. And a question I ask everyone who comes on the channel, and especially yourself as a karate guy, are you Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do camp?
Oh.
This has caused the most controversy on my channel, by the way.
Yeah. All right, you ready for this? Okay. Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. I never, ever would even think that before. And I'll tell you why. I think the creator and the director, the producers, whatever, of this new show has really done a number on everybody, right? Yeah. Because like back in the day, like when this thing came out, like I was in high school when this came out, and I loved it. And we felt for Daniel-san. We felt for him. You know, he was the underdog. He was the guy who was getting bullied. He was, you know, it was all about him, right?
Yeah.
But man, when this series came out, it was quite the opposite, in my opinion, because the character development of Johnny was amazing. Now, when you look at both of them, they really are like parallels, right? It's like yin and yang. They both have their set of issues, right? Yeah. But if you were to ask me, if you were to give one person the most improved character award, I would say I would give it to Johnny, because Johnny has changed the most. I think, you know, like he's gone. He's really he's looking deep. He's digging deep, and he's thinking. You know, he's thinking about Reese, and he's thinking about, you know, about the whole direction he's going to take Cobra Kai. And I think Cobra Kai is taking a good direction. And I think what's going to happen is, you know, Daniel is going to see the good in Johnny, and they're both going to tag team against, you know, Reese, right? The is the teacher? Is that his name? Yeah. I think that's what's going to go on. That's my call.
Yeah. I'd say the next season will be a lot of fun now, but
I know it's coming out like what, in the new year, right?
Yeah, I think February time, I think.
Yeah. So can't wait, man. I like, you know, people who are not like us, like people who are not like martial art guys, they look at it and they're going, it's cheese, crappy fighting, you know, crappy jokes and this and that, but they don't understand. Like we came from that. Like it's it doesn't matter. It's just good. You know.
My wife still thinks it's the cheesiest show on TV now, but
they don't understand.
She's only watched the first episode of the first season.
Yeah.
And, the finish up of it, where he takes the young guy and he says, "I'm going to be your sensei." She just laughed and she said that's the cheesiest line she's ever heard on TV. But it'll grow on her yet. I'll get around.
Yep.
And finally, Chris, where can people find you online?
Oh, that's easy. You can type in my name, Chris Hanson, ChrisHanson, and then attach the words Karate Unity. You know, the words karate and unity, and you'll be able to find me on there, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and I also have a website, karateunity.ca.
Perfect. Yes, I'll put all the links in the description as well.
Yep, appreciate that. It
was a pleasure having you on, Chris. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm gonna have to have you on mine soon. We'll message each other and I'll get you on there for sure.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah.
And, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, sir.